Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel, and welcome to another episode of the Chill Pill Podcast, the only podcast you can watch that provides a fair amount of professional wrestling. And by a fair amount, I mean the entire thing is professional wrestling. So I might as well just call it a smart podcast like everybody else. But I like to pretend there's some diversity here, so you all should play along as well. I don't know why I put that in there. But that being said, what is up, you guys? It is Chill Pill Podcast, episode 12? I think it's episode 12. I hope it's episode 12. I think we're episode 12. Yeah, last episode we did WrestleMania predictions. I figured this episode would be a review of WrestleMania 36. We had a two-night event that was WrestleMania 36, much like Wrestle Kingdom 14, which I was in attendance for. Not WrestleMania, because nobody was in attendance for WrestleMania. But, this was a very interesting 2 nights of wrestling that we got here. I mean, WrestleMania is the biggest wrestling event of the year, whether it be WWE or not. It is the showcase of the immortals, the grandest stage of them all, as they would like to tell you each and every single time they can. And first thing I want to say is, this is a weird one. This was a weird one. I mean, this is the first WrestleMania with no crowd reaction. It had its moments. It had its matches. When I say it had its matches, I mean like maybe 3 matches of the entire like 18 they had. I thought were like good or great, and everything else kind of just fell in line with So that was that. You had one standout that was just like, wow, this is like groundbreaking. Like I didn't expect WWE to pull this off. You had one weird ball thrown in here, and then everything else is fell in line. That was WrestleMania in a nutshell. That was the podcast. Thank you for watching. No, I'm just kidding. But I figured I'd dedicate this entire podcast to WrestleMania 36 as I did the last podcast to WrestleMania 36. I was going to come on here and talk about the Dark Side of the Ring. I only watched the New Jack episode so far, but I figured I didn't want to do that because I wanted to watch the other episode first, maybe do a double review for my next episode of the Chill Pill Podcast. Trying to get content out here, guys, I swear. I'm trying to get content out here. Once I finish this last show for mat-based combat, then it's back to business as usual. But until then, I guess we're going to be a little slow at the office for a little bit, just trying to really finish this show out. But I wanted to get this out to you guys. And that being said, let's waste no more time. Let's get straight into WrestleMania 36 before we get into that. I know, I'm sorry. Mat-based combat Wrestle Kingdom happened the same day as night 1. You guys should all check it out. It was great professional wrestling put on by a computer-generated program that was WWE2K19, and it was officiated by your boy. And I know, you look at it on YouTube, and it's like, man, this seems about an hour longer than the actual WrestleMania was. And I know it might discern you and it might sway you away, but trust me, it's great shit. It's good. It's good shit, pal. Or something like that. I don't know. But that being said, now we can get into WrestleMania 36. I'm going to start with night 1, then segue to night 2. Give my reactions and my review for all the matches. So we're going to get to the pre-show here. I actually did watch the pre-show. Unlike any WWE show I usually watch, I usually always skip the pre-show. I figured, you know what, we're going to watch the whole pre-show here. So we had Cesaro versus Drew Gulak. And this was a match that, on paper, sounded like it was going to be really good. Like, you have Cesaro, who I've always been a big fan of Cesaro. And you have Drew Gulak, Philly native, future Intercontinental Champion. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. Going at each other. I thought this was a really, let me not say really good. I thought this was a good pre-show match. And I feel like I probably, by saying a pre-show match, it probably puts it down a peg. But I thought this was a pretty good match put on by these two men for the time they were given. They give it like, what, 9-8 minutes? Cesaro won with the UFO, which I've marked out for because back in the day, I used to look at some old Cesaro matches back when I was really high on him. And I used to watch his Claudio Castagnoli matches. And I used to always watch this guy do the UFO. Especially the one time he did it on El Generico. And he was like rotating him on his shoulders for like a minute or something like that. And I was like, dude, this shit is wild. He should do this in WWE. And he never did. Up until this point. He did the UFO, and I was like, yeah, he did the UFO. And he beat Drew Gulak with it. I didn't think it would be his finisher, but he used it, and he pinned him, and he won it. So Cesaro is the winner of this match. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Cesaro should just UFO everybody from now on, and I'll be happy. Maybe he should UFO Vince for not pushing him, but that's another topic for another day. Then we hop into the main show. WrestleMania 36 Night 1 happened on April the 4th, 2020. And I know I'm 4 days late. This might be 5 days late, depending on if it goes up on Wednesday or Thursday for this WrestleMania review. But it's all right. It's cool. Anyway, we get to the first match here. We had the Kabuki Warriors, Alexa Bliss. Oh, whoa. Whoa, now. Whoa, I didn't know Alexa Bliss what Kabuki for a second there. But no, we had the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane going up against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. To open up WrestleMania, I thought this was a very underwhelming match. Like, I can't really remember anything happening aside from the finish, which is sad because, you know, Asuka and Kairi Sane, I think, are amazing, especially Asuka. Asuka's my favorite female wrestler in all of wrestling right now. She has been for the last 5 years, and it's really sad thinking that she's 0-3 at WrestleMania. I know it spoils the finish of who won. Let's just get into that. Alexa Bliss hit Twisted Bliss onto Kairi Sane and got the pin to win back the Women's Tag Team Championships with Nikki Cross, or Thicky Cross, either one. So, good for Alexa and Nikki, I guess. I mean, I don't really care, but I only care about Asuka and Kairi, and then they lost. I'm like, oh, well, all right. And as I was saying, I think it's a little sad that you look at Asuka's WrestleMania record, and it's like, okay, WrestleMania 34 against Charlotte Flair. She should have won. I think everyone could agree with that. She should have beat Charlotte, but no, Charlotte ended her undefeated streak, and she beat her for the SmackDown Women's Championship. WrestleMania 35. Who did she face at WrestleMania 35? Does anybody remember? What was her? I gotta look this up because I honestly don't remember what her WrestleMania 35 match was. Let me look. WrestleMania. I'm doing this live, so leave me alone, alright? WrestleMania. I know she had that match last year. Who did she face? Was she in that? That's 36. Was she in that match with that tag team match? No, well, she couldn't have been in that tag team match. Let me see. Don't tell me she was in the Battle Royal. Because that'd be kind of sad if she was in that Battle Royal. I'm trying. I don't see a match with her. Maybe she wasn't. Was she even at WrestleMania last year? She had to have been. Who was in this WrestleMania Battle Royal? I'm thinking she probably was in the Battle Royal. Yup. She was. She was in the Battle Royal. That's sad, man. That's sad. They had her in a Battle Royal. Oh, man. I had to have been pissed. I could imagine I must have been pissed knowing that Asuka was in the Battle Royal last year. But no, she got eliminated in Battle Royal, which was won by Carmella, of all people. And then you get to this WrestleMania, and she's losing to Alexa and Nikki. So Asuka might as well just let her contract run out and go to AEW where they're going to treat her right. But that being said, Alexa and Nikki won. Good on them, I guess. I don't know what you do with the Kabuki Warriors at this point, unless you just have them go after their tag team. Let's talk about this, right? The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Who possibly gives a single fuck about these titles, bro? I mean, I know it could be just me not watching the product enough to care, but like, do any of you who watch this company honestly care about these titles? Like, there's no division for it. There is no tag team division for the women. And I could say this about the men's, too. Like, the men's tag team championships. Does anyone care about the tag team titles? Raw or SmackDown? Like, at least they have a division. They have tag teams. The women's tag division is non-existent. I mean, you have the Iconics, who I don't even really hear or see on WWE's YouTube channel, because that's the only way I really keep up with this product. You have the Kabuki Warriors, who were the tag team champions, right? You have Alexa and Nikki Cross. You have Mandy and Sonya, who aren't even a tag team anymore, so you can't even put them in that lobby. And who else do you have as far as tag teams go? You have to makeshift some at that point. That it's like, well, who's next for Alexa and Nikki? I mean, yeah, you could run a rematch program for a little bit, but then after that, who's next? What do? You already broke up one tag team. I don't know where else you go with this. I watched the video I did. I did a video 2 years ago about how it was a bad idea for WWE to do this tag team championship. And I look at that video and I feel like some of my opinions are a little dated, and you know, I don't really agree with all my sentiments, but I look back on that video and I'm like, well, you know what? I agree. It was a bad idea for them to do this, because it's like, I felt like WWE put these tag team titles in place just to say they have tag team titles. I don't feel like they even had an incentive when they did it. Yes, Sasha and Bayley were the first tag team champions. It was a sweet moment. It was great for them to finally realize their dreams of becoming the first ever women's tag team champions, and they were crying. The women were crying all over the place. But once they lost it to the Iconics, and mind you, I'm a big Iconics fan. When Iconics won WrestleMania, I was going crazy, man. I was going wild when Iconics won at WrestleMania 35. But then they had that very, very, very dull reign where they didn't defend against anybody, as far as I remember. And then they just lost it. And I was like, okay, well, Alexa and Nikki, I guess, are cool. And I remember what happened with them and who they lost it to. And then the Kabuki Warriors won. I'm like, okay, cool. And then they did a little mini feud with Charlotte and Becky for no reason. I don't know why they went up against Charlotte and Becky, and that scared me for a hot second, because I'm like, do we really need to put a title on Charlotte now? And they managed to pull out and win that, and then you just had them lose it back to Alexa Bliss, and it's like, they're just makeshifting tag teams for these titles, and it's because it's like, what history do Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have for them to be a tag team? I don't even remember how they even got together or paired off with each other. Because I was thinking about it the other day. Like, Nikki Cross, her character Insanity is like completely opposite of her now. And let me not say completely opposite, because you do get a little bit of undertones of her with Sanity, because she does do the whole chest beating dang and act like she's crazy Nikki and all that kind of stuff. But like, I don't think her and Nikki Cross in 2017 are the same person. And it's a little sad to me. But that's my little rant on the women's tag team division and how I don't think they really matter. And I'm sorry for all the women out there who may listen to this, or men who might be triggered by this. But if WWE got rid of these tag team championships tomorrow, I would have bet, and I'd be like, well, guess you got to book your women right now. But what can I say? What can I say? Then we get into the second match. We had King Corbin versus Elias. So why follow up a boring match with an even more boring and overly uninteresting sounding match? I'll never know, but WWE thought it was a good idea to follow up that with this match. So bear in mind, on SmackDown, whether it be the previous show before this, like the Go Home show, or whether it be the SmackDown Go Home show, you had King Corbin and Elias fighting on top of that PC platform. You guys know what I'm talking about. The platform that Triple H comes out on sometimes, Rhea Ripley comes out on sometimes, and they make announcements. They're on that platform, and King Corbin sent Elias off of it and crashing down to the floor. And he was tended to by medics and whatnot. So Corbin comes out, and he's floating. He's talking about how, oh, well, I should be awarded the winner of this match since King Corbin isn't coming out, and da-da-da-da-da. And what do you know? Elias shows up. No tape, no bumps, no bruises, no sign of injury, not even a limp. This guy wasn't even pretending to be hurt. Now, maybe I'm imagining this wrong. Maybe he was limping a little bit, but from what I remember, this dude did not come out as if he ever fell off the. If they wouldn't have never shown you the clip of Elias falling off the ramp, you would have never known. You would have never known from the way he was walking out here. So he comes out here with his guitar. King Corbin goes after him. He breaks the guitar over his back, because apparently his mutant healing powers, and falling off the ramp that gives him the ability to raise his shoulders up, because obviously his shoulders were still completely fine, whatever. So he gets him into the ring, the bell rings, and as soon as the bell rings, I tell you, my eyes were looking at, you guys know what I mean? I am looking directly at it. You guys know that meme? I'm looking directly at it. That was me. I was looking directly at the screen during this match, but it's like my brain just played something completely different over it. I don't know if it erased this match from my memory, or if I was just playing, I don't know, some Blinding Lights by the Weeknd, because that was better than this entire match, honestly. But I don't remember a single thing that happened. I couldn't even remember it even if I tried. Hell, I barely remembered who won. I literally had to go online and look up who won this match, because I couldn't remember that either. So Elias ends up rolling up King Corbin, because roll-ups are still a thing now. He rolls up King Corbin and gets the pin. And I'm like, yeah. Alright, so then we get into the next match. And a match, I was shocked that they put, like, third on this show. I thought they were going to put it somewhere further to the main event. But we have Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch comes out on her truck, her very cool yet ugly at the same time looking truck, and she makes her way out to the ring. Shayna Baszler comes out wearing all red, because she sees blood. She's a blood gang. What? Act like I didn't say that. So overall, I thought it was a fine match. I thought this is probably what I like to call a TV match. Like, sometimes WWE has what I call TV matches. They're matches you would catch on a normal Raw or SmackDown. Then they have these really cool pay-per-view quality matches. Like, I long for the days of matches like Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at, Money in the Bank 2016, or John Cena versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016, or that's a lot of 2016 matches I'm naming here. Or Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus John. Like, there are matches in WWE history that have happened at pay-per-views. I'm like, damn, this is great wrestling I'm watching right here. And then you have Seth Rollins versus who knows who, or just Seth Rollins versus anybody cool, or any wrestler versus anybody on Raw, and it's just like, it's a match that happened. I felt like this match kind of happened. And there was some offense in here that was cool. I felt like there was some spots in here where they were throwing hits at each other, and because there was no crowds, you could hear all the hits landing, and I thought that was pretty cool. But other than that, I don't remember anything happening from this match except for the finish. So, in the end, Shayna Baszler locks in her Kirifuda clutch, and she's tried for this Kirifuda clutch at least like twice already. Becky's got out of it both times. She tries for it a third time. You think, oh shit, she might actually beat Becky this time. So Becky's struggling. She's struggling. You thinking maybe she's gonna kneel to her feet and lay on the ground like Shayna does everybody, and just that's it. She's out. Ding, ding, ding. But no, Becky gets down to the ground, and she manages to pin Shayna's shoulders down to the mat. 1, 2, 3, and just like that, Becky Lynch retains the Raw Women's Championship. And I remember when this happened, I was so confused. I'm like, did they really just pin Shayna Baszler? Like, I couldn't even be mad. Like, honestly, I could not be mad at this result at all, because being mad would insinuate that I wasn't shocked. I wasn't really too shocked by this. I was just confused. I'm like, we really just sat here, and mind you, I'm sure Vince McMahon didn't go Triple H like, well, I want you to really build up the Shayna Baszler woman. I want you to build her up for 2.5 years, and then when she goes to the main roster, I want someone to beat her. Like, I'm sure Vince McMahon did not go to Triple H with that idea in mind. Triple H probably saw something in the Shayna Baszler, and I'm not going to sit here and act like Shayna Baszler isn't good, because Shayna Baszler, when she's on one, she's on one. She's good. I think Shayna Baszler was greatly pushed. Sometimes I feel like she didn't need to win matches, but it was for a certain purpose. They wanted Shayna to look like a monster. They wanted to look like a force to be reckoned with, and damn it, she was a force to be reckoned with when she was in NXT. She beat basically everybody. Everybody you could think of NXT, Shayna beat them. And when she finally dropped title to Rhea Ripley, it was a great crowning moment for Rhea Ripley, and everyone was excited and happy, and I was excited to see what the future held for both women. Shayna probably going to the main roster. Rhea Ripley's going to have a great run with the NXT Women's Championship on NXT and carry that division. And we get to WrestleMania 36. You have both women in their respective matches. I'll get to the Rhea part a little bit later on my review. But Rhea just comes in here and he just loses the back. So, to add on to that, Shayna Baszler enters in the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble match. Last entry, mind you. She comes in here and she just cleans house. Eliminates, I think, 8 women at one time. But mind you, Bianca Belair entered in that match and she eliminated 8 women as well. But she eliminated 8 women over the course of 30 minutes. Shayna Baszler eliminated 8 women over the course of like 6 minutes. So that's like at least 2 eliminations every minute. No, 2 eliminations every 4 minutes. Steiner math here. I haven't been in school in a few years, so don't look at me. Don't look at me like that, all right? So Shayna Baszler eliminates all these women from the Rumble match. Then she gets something by Charlotte, which I still don't understand, but whatever. Then we get to Elimination Chamber. Mind you, I was there for it. Elimination Chamber. Shayna eliminates every single woman in that match. She looks like a wrecking ball. She's just going through everybody. And then on top of that, she tapped out. She tapped out Asuka in that match too. And I'm just like, bro, she has to be Becky. You can't do all this and that Becky just beats her. Becky's been champion for a year, an entire calendar year. Becky's been champion. It's time. It's time for Becky to lose it. I don't know who else Becky loses it to if it's not Shayna. And then Becky just beats her. And I'm like, well, what do you do now? It's like, yes, you can go and you can have a little bit of a running feud with these two, and Shayna can win it later. But it's like the damage is done. Shayna already lost, and let me not say the damage is done, because Shayna doesn't get too badly hurt from this. Like, Shayna's been built up for so long that I don't think one loss is going to kill her immediately. But for her to do all this and lose to Becky at the grandest stage, this is like, wow. Like, I don't know why they did that. Like, does it do Becky any favors? I guess to her fans it does, but to people who might have been warming to Becky, or people who might have been cooling off, because I ain't gonna lie, I was cooling off in Becky. It's been a year since she's been champion. Like, I think after a certain period of time as champion, people start to be like, yeah, you know, if she loses the title, we'll be mad. And then after a certain point, it's like, okay, now she just lose the title. Like, I feel like with people, not even just wrestling, with people in general, they don't like seeing the same person on top for too long. I don't know what the science is or the psychology is behind it, but people genuinely do not like seeing the same person on top for a long time. And I don't know why it bothers them. It bothers me seeing the same person on top for a long time. It's like, as soon as you reach a certain period of time, people want to see you lose. They want to see the next person in that role. They want to see something new, something fresh. See who else can take the reins and how they can mold it and make something different with it. And I feel like that applies to Becky here. Becky had her run. It started in 2017 when she lost a SummerSlam, and then she had that she was on fire, man. After that was 2018, she was on fire, man. And then 2019 came in, and she was still on fire. She won the championship, and then she was having her run, you know, she was on top. She was beating everybody. Now it's 2020, and it's like, okay, Becky's cool, I guess. She's still cool, but it's like, if she lost the title, I ain't mad about it. Like, their time is coming on, you know. She could chase for it, win it back, and, you know, that would be cool for her, but I don't think she still needs to be the champion at this point. Like, why? I mean, I guess if you're from a business standpoint, it's smart, because, you know, she's moving ratings. Apparently she's moving ticket sales, not anymore. She's moving sales online. She's the best seller. So from a business standpoint, it makes sense for Becky to still be the champion. But from a fan standpoint, it's like, she's been champion for a year now. It doesn't really, I don't think we really still need her to be the champion at the moment. And especially when the right person comes along and they lose to her, it's like, I don't know what that was about. So Becky wins. Okay, I guess. I feel like if she is the champion any longer and she starts beating people, then people are going to start getting pissed at her. Because what I don't want is for Becky to start getting booed. Now, mind you, there's no crowd to boo Becky, so it won't matter in the eyes of WWE. They could book whatever the hell they want for the next few months and not have to worry about a fan in the world ruining any segments. They will never have to worry about that until we get crowds. They will never have to worry about that. But what you don't want is for Becky to get turned on online, because that shit might stay until fans come back to the arenas, and then they're going to start booing her. So you don't want a Roman Reigns incident on your hands where you push until fans just get tired of seeing them. Because how long did it take fans to warm up to Roman Reigns again? So I feel like with Becky, they got to be careful with that. They truly have to be careful with how they book Becky from here on out. And I think if I'm them, I'd have Shayna beat her at the next pay-per-view. Whether it be Money in the Bank or whatever the hell's up next, I'd have Shayna beat her. Like, if Becky beats her twice, then we have a problem. But that being said, Becky retained the title. Let's move on to the next match. Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship. This match I was low-key looking forward to because of the parallels I've seen between two men. Sami Zayn, when I first started watching him at NXT in 2014, I was like, man, this guy is on one. He's putting on consistently some of the best matches I've seen. And this is around the time Daniel Bryan was at his peak as well. And I'm like, damn, he's a great underdog, you know what I mean? He's there. He's doing all this stuff. I would love to see a Daniel Bryan Sami Zayn match one day. And then Daniel Bryan had to retire. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm not going to have to see this. Then he actually came back, and we got that tag team match, WrestleMania 34, between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. I'm like, yes, we're finally going to get at least a glimpse of it. At least just a taste of what they can offer. And I feel like I was kind of deprived of it in that match, because we really didn't get to see Sami and Daniel Bryan do their thing like I wanted them to. And we really never got back to that point where Sami and Daniel Bryan until this point. I'm like, yes, finally we get to see Sami and Daniel Bryan go at it. And then the match happened, and it was just typical babyface versus heel shenanigans. I mean, you had Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Poor Shinsuke, man. Shinsuke's been relegated to Sami Zayn's fucking bitch. And I just disgusting. But you just have Shinsuke and Cesaro trying to distract him, and Daniel Bryan's trying to get some offense in, and at points he's just beating down Sami. Sami's like, no more, please stop. And I'm like, Sami, stop being a little bitch. Like, the fuck? I was getting aggravated. I'm like, this is not the match I wanted to see, and I'm sure a lot of people probably the same way. Like, what? Why are they doing this match? Why are they working this style? This is not the match I want from them, and that might just me being a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Being a very stuck-up fan and being an ungrateful fan. But I wish they would have done something better than this. Like, this is a little upsetting in my opinion. But nonetheless, Daniel Bryan went to the top rope. I don't know if he went for a headbutt or what, because at this point Sami Zayn standing up. But Sami Zayn caught him with this big boot right to the head, which I guess they called a haluva kick, because haluva kick is usually in the corner, not to a jumping opponent. But they said it was a haluva kick. He pinned Daniel Bryan to retain the title. And I'm like, okay. Okay. All right, I guess. On to the next one. I thought this was a okay match. It really just could have been better in many, many ways. Very skippable in my opinion. Which is sad considering the year Daniel Bryan had last year. And then you get to this point, it's like, wow, you're just doing this. Because what I thought was going to happen was Daniel Bryan would win the match, and then Drew Gulak would maybe not turn on him right away, because that would have been a gimme. But maybe over time, Drew Gulak, they plant the seeds, and Drew Gulak turned to Daniel Bryan, and then we get an IC championship match somewhere down the line between Drew and Daniel Bryan to revisit that match. I feel like that's where they might be heading. And they probably could be heading there now and just dragging it out a little bit with Sami retaining here. But I would have had Daniel win. And I probably would have had a better match. Maybe given 5-7 more minutes. Maybe even 10. Who knows. But Sami retains. Then we get into the next match. John Morrison versus Jimmy Uso versus Kofi Kingston in a triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right. The SmackDown Tag Team Championships were defended in a triple threat singles match. Logic thrown out the window. I can't even tell you why. I mean, I could tell you why. The Miz was sick, and they were like, well, I guess we're not doing that match. So after basically 4 disappointing matches back to back, I was a little bored, a little restless. I'm not restless. I'm a little tired. I was yawning during this match, you know what I mean? I was a little in and out of it, which I regret a little bit, because I thought looking back, this match is actually really dope. Which I'd expected, because first of all, it's John Morrison. John Morrison's the man. He's awesome. And they got Jimmy Uso. He's also awesome in the ladder matches, or really any tag team match. They have Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston's always the king of ladder matches. And I think it's a little sad, if you ask me, that Kofi Kingston, 1 year after being in what many say was the match of the year 2019 against Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship, is now in a triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team. Back to the tag team division you go, Kofi. Thank you for making 2019 one of the best years for SmackDown with your feud with Daniel Bryan. Thank you very much. Here is a triple threat for a tag team titles. Yeah, I love how WWE treats this, man. But hate to see it. Overall, I thought it was a good match. There's a lot of cool spots in here, especially the spot where I don't remember who was on top. Was it Kofi or Jimmy? I think Jimmy was on the top rope. And John Morrison hops on one of the middle of the rope, and he tightrope walks to Jimmy and hits a Spanish Fly. I thought he was gonna hit a Spanish Fly onto the ladder, which would have been fucking killer, but also really dangerous. He hits a Spanish Fly onto him, and I'm like, damn, bro, this is what's up. This is pretty cool. Mind you, this is me watching the match back. When I first watched the match, I was dozing off, but watching it back, I thought it was really cool. But I didn't get to the finish. I don't want to call too many spots. This is one of the matches I would say stop everything you do and go watch it. But if you have time, maybe check it out. If you have time. But you get to the finish. All 3 men on the ladder. You have John Morrison on one side, then you have Kofi and Jimmy on the other side. and they're all trying to grab at these titles. Mind you, not one title, but both titles are hanging above the ring. Now, I thought this was stupid because you have one guy with two hands. So how is he possibly going to grab both titles and not fall? Like, I didn't understand. I would have just held one belt, but I guess I understand for the finish. What I thought was going to happen, what I honestly, genuinely thought was going to happen, was they knocked John Morrison off the ladder, and Kofi and Jimmy both grab the titles. And then you do, Kofi and Jimmy are the new tag team. I thought they were going to do that, which I don't know how I would have felt about that. I feel like part of me would have been like, okay, this is different, this is interesting, but then part of me would have been like, this is stupid. I don't know how I would have felt about it, honestly. But the finish we did get was they both knock off John Morrison, who was holding on to both titles, and John Morrison falls with both titles in hand onto a ladder. Now, watching it back, that spot looked horrific. Like, I would not have been, I do not envy John Morrison at all for taking this spot. He was a G for taking this spot. This dude fell directly back onto a ladder, like head first, back first, onto a ladder, and he basically dropped both titles when he fell, which I don't blame him. But he fell with both titles, so that makes him the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. He retains the titles. So, cool. I thought it was a good match. Whatever. You get a Rob Gronkowski was the host of WrestleMania. I guess I forgot to mention that too. He was a non-factor in this show. He was there to be a frat boy. But he ended up trying to pin R-Truth, but Mojo Rawley was like, nah, son. And he took Rob Gronkowski off of him and pinned R-Truth himself and became the 24/7 champion. And I'm like, all right. Does anyone care about this title? I don't care about many titles in WWE. I don't even care about the company in general. But then we get to the next match. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. This match is alright. It was alright. About midway through, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens are outside the ring, and he clocks Kevin Owens in the head with the ring bell, and it gets a DQ finish. And I'm like, are you really about to do a DQ finish on WrestleMania? I was about to throw up my hands and say, fuck this show, and like turn on something different. Like I was literally seconds away from just saying F this show, man. Like at this point, I've had one boring match after another boring match. And mind you, second run, I liked the triple threat. But the first one, I was so bored by the last three matches, I was literally dozing off during the triple threat match. I was like, So then you get to this, and it's like, okay, it's not even that good. And then it's just a bell DQ. I'm like, bro, why is this WrestleMania? Like, why is this WrestleMania? So Kevin Owens calls out Seth, who's walked to the back, like, oh, you're a coward, bitch. Yeah, that's WWE's favorite word now. They love saying the word bitch. But he challenged him to a no DQ, no countout match. Seth Rollins like, oh, you want it? I'll give it to you. Then they get back into the ring and they brawl for a little bit. Biggest highlight of this match, or really maybe even the night, was Kevin Owens gets Seth Rollins on the announce table. He goes to the back. Now, I can't even say the back because they're in the PC. So he goes behind the announce table, behind the platform that was the WrestleMania sign that was right near the ring. Now, mind you, the WrestleMania sign might be about good, 15, 20 feet, maybe a little less than that. But he gets on top of the WrestleMania sign. He teleports up there, mind you, thanks to editing. But he teleports up to the WrestleMania sign, and he does what I like to call the Shayna Mac leap of faith on the Seth Rollins and just crashes and burns. And I thought this was a dope spot. I thought it was a cool spot. Nice little quote-unquote WrestleMania moment, as people like to call it. I thought it was funny that he did this. I call it the Shayna Mac leap of faith because the formation of him walking up the sign and leaping off with his back to his opponent and his elbow rotating. I'm like, that's something Shane would do. I'm like, everything. I'm like, this spot meant for Shane McMahon. Maybe it was like homage or shit. I don't know what was going on here, but I liked it. He gets him in the ring, hits a stunner, and gets the pin. Kevin Owens wins this match. Cool, I guess. At this point in the show, I'm like, you know what? This has been a pretty D show for me. I'm ready for the next two matches to be over with. Just get this match. Just get the show over with. I'm done. So we get into the co-main event: Braun Strowman versus Bill Goldberg for the Bill Goldberg for the SmackDown Blueberry Universal Championship. Really just Universal Championship. And how do I describe this match? Oh, I can describe this match for you. Here's the exact match, pound for pound. Well, not the exact match, but here's how the layout of the match went. Bell rings, spear from Goldberg, which was more of a tackle than a spear, but spear from Goldberg, second spear from Goldberg, third spear from Goldberg, 2 count, fourth spear from Goldberg, jackhammer attempt, countered, power slam, power slam, power slam, fourth power slam, 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman is your new Universal Champion. And in 2 minutes and 36 seconds, Braun Strowman just beats Goldberg. And I'm like, damn, he jobbed out Goldberg. Let me get into this. Let me talk about Braun Strowman for a second here. And I said this in my prediction, so a lot of you might already know my opinions on Braun Strowman, but let me talk about this guy. Braun Strowman, when he made his debut, he was part of the Wyatt family as their heavy, and he was green as grass. I mean, this dude had a few moves to his name. He's the powerhouse. You obviously could tell they were building him up for something big afterwards. But then they had this whole revamp. The company went through a whole revamp period as soon as they got that, they went through the whole draft period. And now you got wrestlers being drafted Raw and SmackDown. There's a very, I'll say this. 2016 was probably the last interesting year for WWE. That was probably the last year where things were interesting for me. Like, I started to lose interest in WWE in 2015, but 2016 I was still kind of sort of watching Raw and SmackDown and watching every single pay-per-view. That was the last good year in my opinion. And that was the year that Braun Strowman became a monster. Like, after they had that first Raw, he was running through all these jobbers, man. He was the powerhouse, and it got him over. And then he started running through the roster, and he had that feud with Roman Reigns for basically all of 20. Like, he feuded with Roman Reigns for really the entire 2017. It was like the tail end of 2016 to SummerSlam. He feuded with Roman Reigns for like 9 months. That was a long ass feud. And I'll say this, it did help to get both men, not Roman, because Roman was already a main man, but it helped to get Braun Strowman over. And then you got to the SummerSlam 2017 match, Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And still to this day, I consider that one of my favorite SummerSlam matches. I was there, so I guess I have a little bit of a bias. But that match was awesome, man. You just had 4 powerhouses going at each other, spot to spot. Everything was just flying all over the place. Samoa Joe went at Goldberg. No, what am I talking about? Samoa Joe went at Brock Lesnar, which I wanted to see for so long. Roman Reigns was in this match getting booed to shit, as he always does. Braun Strowman was just in here getting cheered. I still remember the spot where he threw the chair at Roman Reigns, and it was so awesome. And if I'm correct, I think Brock Lesnar pinned Roman Reigns in that match to retain the Universal Championship. And then after that, we got into the Braun Strowman Goldberg match. It was our first match, and I'm like, you know what? This is it. They've been building up this man for the last year. This is the time to put the title on Braun Strowman. And what do you know? Right after he beats Samoa Joe, he beats Braun Strowman too. And I'm like, all right. First match they had. You got to make Brock look strong, I guess, for the next time they face off. Then you get to the Royal Rumble 2018. It's Braun Strowman versus Kane. Kane's in this match for some reason. Versus Brock Lesnar. And you think maybe they have Braun pin Kane and win the Universal Championship, maybe? And he loses. Kane gets pinned by Brock, and he's still the Universal Champion. I'm like, all right. I guess there's a cop-out that he didn't get pinned. I guess maybe next match is the new one. I don't remember what the next match was. I honestly cannot tell you what the next match was with Braun Strowman and Goldberg. Can't tell you when it was because I just can't. I cannot. But they have a match, and I'm like, all right, this is the time. This is the third attempt, fourth attempt, really. Wait a minute. SummerSlam, No Mercy, Royal Rumble. This is the fourth attempt. They gotta put the title on Braun this time. They gotta put the title on him. And what do you know? Brock Lesnar beats Braun Strowman again. This is a singles match this time. Singles match, and he beats Braun Strowman. I said, you know what, bro? I'm done. I don't know what else I could do. They've had him lose to Brock Lesnar 3-4 times already. Where else do you go with him? You gotta build him back up. And then you had Braun Strowman just, I don't know what the hell he did for the rest of the year. He ain't really do much, in my opinion, to warrant this. But then you got Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel last year for the WWE Universe, one of the two titles, for the championship. And I'm like, what did Braun Strowman do to deserve this match exactly? I didn't even care. I was like, if Braun wins this match, cool. But if he loses, it just makes him like a damn loser. And what do you know? Braun loses again to Brock Lesnar. I'm like, well, Braun's a loser. If you couldn't beat this man 4 times, you are a certified loser. So I basically lost all her interest and hope in Braun Strowman by that point. Then you get here, Braun Strowman is shoehorned into this spot because Roman Reigns basically went into self-quarantine. And he got put in this spot. I was like, whatever, I guess. And then you had the whole Twitter thing going. I had my opinions on that. I'm like, Braun Strowman looks like an asshole, basically. Made it really affect my opinion going into this match. Either way, I still felt like Braun being in this match, he's a placeholder for Roman. He's going to lose so that way Goldberg can keep the championship until Roman's ready to come back. Then Braun Strowman comes in and he beats Goldberg. Mind you, he didn't just beat Goldberg. He basically beat him in every single Goldberg match he's had so far. Move, pin. It's that. It's the same Goldberg formula for every single match. And I'm like, okay, he looks strong and he won the title, but I don't care. I don't care. He lost too many times. His character was tarnished by this point. So yeah, it's cool for him, but personally, me, I mean, it's a little too late. It's too late for me to possibly care. And what do you do with Braun at this point? What do you do with Braun Strowman? I mean, you have him drop the title to Roman Reigns? Because from what I heard, Goldberg is not contractually obligated to appear for the rest of the year. So that's it. That is it for Goldberg. They probably only had him drop the title to Braun Strowman because he wasn't scheduled to appear for the rest of the year. So that might have been the only reason why Braun Strowman beat him, to be honest. But what do? Do you have Braun Strowman drop the title to Roman Reigns? You spent all this time building up Roman Reigns versus Goldberg, and then Braun Strowman beats him. So now, all that build-up was for nothing. It was for nothing. And I don't want to say it's all Roman's fault, because I don't blame him for doing it. But all we did, the Fiend losing the title to Goldberg was for nothing. Nothing. And I heard rumors online too that apparently Goldberg was in the back lobbying to beat the Fiend for the championship because he didn't want his character to get harmed by losing to the Fiend. Which, if this is true, fuck Goldberg. I'm just saying, fuck that old ass.
Warning. Tyler-kun Williams is about to become Toxic Tyler. I repeat, Tyler-kun Williams is about to become Toxic Tyler. We do not endorse any of the things he says within the next few minutes. Please take cover, as the next few things he might say may harm your ears.
If this is true, fuck Goldberg. I'm just saying, fuck that old ass man. He did not need to go in there and beat the Fiend. Hearing that, and it might just be a rumor, it might not be true, but to hear that 53-year-old William Goldberg went into the back and said, you know what? I don't feel like losing to this boy because I feel like my character might be hurt by losing to this upcoming rising star, your top merchandise seller. I might be hurt by losing to him. So we can't have that. I should win the title. And I guess WWE just said, well, okay. And he won the title. Like I said, that's a rumor. And that's all it is. And it's all you take it as. But if that is the case, and that is how this all came to be with the Fiend losing the title, then fuck Bill Goldberg. I don't care if he hears this shit. Fuck that guy. I didn't like Goldberg to begin with from the first. I know I'm shooting here, brother. But I didn't like Bill Goldberg to begin with. I never liked Goldberg. Growing up, I was never a Goldberg fan. When he returned 2016, I was like, cool. But then he beat Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, you built this man up to lose to Goldberg? I remember being pissed when Brock Lesnar lost to Goldberg. And I wasn't even a Brock Lesnar fan at the time, but I was pissed when Brock Lesnar lost to Goldberg. He had his match at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, and I liked the match, but it didn't make me like Goldberg anymore. Then Goldberg, didn't he beat Kevin Owens for the title? Yeah, I like Goldberg even less after he beat Kevin Owens for the title. Then he held the title for a little bit. He held the title, and then he had to go match with Brock Lesnar. All right. Then he came back out of the blue in 2019 to have a match with The Undertaker, which sucked ass, which I heard. I never saw the match because I'm never watching a Saudi show. I heard the match sucked ass. Then he decided, oh, well, you know, I that can't be my last match. I need to have another match against Dolph Ziggler just to make myself look good. I can't possibly have a worse match than that. He has a match with Dolph Ziggler, which I guess was okay, because if you have a bad match with Dolph Ziggler who sells his ass off all the time, you're just trash. You're just trash. Goldberg looks good by beating Dolph Ziggler, who's damaged goods. Then he gets into this feud with The Fiend. Oh, I'm next to face The Fiend. And I'm just like, bro, what did you do to be in this position? The Fiend needs to beat him. The Fiend already lost to Seth Rollins. He didn't lose to Seth Rollins. I mean, he didn't lose to Seth Rollins. But that Hell in a Cell match hurt The Fiend. So how could you hurt The Fiend even more? By having him lose to Goldberg. And what happened? The Fiend lost to Goldberg. And that hurt The Fiend, in my opinion. You could say that the Firefly Funhouse saved him, but that hurt him a lot by losing to Goldberg by a damn suplex, because Goldberg didn't have the strength to lift him up all the way for a jackhammer. It's making me pissed thinking about it. So to hear this, listen, I'm not about to keep on ranting on Goldberg, but listen, bro. I've never been a fan of Goldberg. I will never be a fan of Goldberg. So I'm in a Matt Riddle campaign. I always been a fan of Matt Riddle. I love Matt Riddle. But I'm on the boat with him, Goldberg's garbage. And I'll never be shit, in my opinion. But let's move on to the next match. And I'm done ranting about Bill Goldberg. Then we get to the best part of WrestleMania 36. AJ Styles versus The Undertaker in a Boneyard Match. Now, we all heard the reports that this match was recorded in a completely separate location of the PC. So everybody had their expectations of what the match was going to be and how it was going to go. But I don't think anybody expected what we got. This was 20 minutes of pure cinematic awesomeness. This felt like I was watching a movie. It didn't feel like a wrestling match, and I guess it didn't need to feel like one, because I thought this was perfect for what it was. You had AJ Styles come in here in a hearse. Everyone thought it was The Undertaker except for me. I was on the stream. I said it was AJ Styles, and he comes out of the casket, and it's AJ Styles, and he's talking. And he's like, "Where you at, Undertaker? Where you at? Where you at?" And he's shit talking, and then you hear the brum 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 motorcycles going, and he's like, "Oh man, is that him?" And then you see Undertaker riding by, and I started barking. I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Smart Calloway!" It's Smart Calloway, because I gotta call him Smart Calloway, because this man was talking about how, I'll never forget The Undertaker telling AJ Styles about how his wife got his finisher over. Smart Calloway, this man is. But you have Undertaker come out on his bike as American Badass, and I lost my shit, man. I'm like, I'm ready. Then they go at it. They were brawling for most of the time, but it was an epic brawl. It was epic brawl. They were in a dope ass cemetery or backwoods, whatever they were. The setting was nice. The music was nice. All the camera cuts, it was done like a movie. It felt like I was watching something else. They talk about, when you want to take your mind off of this whole CV thing. This took my mind off of everything. I was totally entranced in everything that was happening in this, whatever this was. This is a match I would say, drop everything you have, and if you have time, watch it. Because this right here, this is something that I would say is one of the greatest things WWE has produced in the last 10 years. The Undertaker looked awesome in this match. And The Undertaker, and all the respect to that man, but in the last few years, his matches have been pure, like, honestly and truly, Undertaker matches have not been good these last few years. But this one, he looked like a badass. AJ Styles did his part. I ain't gonna say he looked like a jabroni for a lot of it, because there were some parts in here where I felt bad for The Undertaker getting his ass whooped. Undertaker at one point was like, and coughing and whatnot. And I hope he didn't have CV. But JJ Styles is like talking trash to him, saying, "Oh, you're old man, right?" And all that. And I legitimately I feel bad for the old man. And then he put him in a grave. And I'm like, God damn, bro. He's about to bury the Undertaker. And I'm like, well, that's one way to get him over, I guess. And he gets on top of the tractor. And he's ready to put him down. And then you just see a big light flash behind him. And the Undertaker's behind him. I'm like, oh my God. And it was such an awesome moment. It was such an awesome camera cut too. And he starts beating his ass. And he get on top of the barn house or whatever the hell it was. He starts beating down. And there was another cool spot here where the Druids came on and attacked AJ Styles. But you should watch this match in case I miss anything. And they're being on top of the barnyard, and then you have the OC come up and he beats them down. I mean, Undertaker beat down all three men by himself, which I think doesn't make him look too well. But then he chokes AJ Styles off the barnyard onto like all this wood or whatnot. Then he throws him into the graveyard and buries him. And then that was the match. And he rides away on a motorcycle, puts his fist up, and the Undertaker sign goes on a barnyard, and it blows up. It was the shit, man. It was awesome. Plenty of emotional drama. Plenty of everything you wanted in a match. This, in my opinion, was great. And you know what's even greater about this match? It was the last match, which means, technically, this was the main event of WrestleMania. Undertaker's main event of WrestleMania before. I can't speak today. Undertaker's main event of WrestleMania before. 26 against Shawn Michaels. I believe he main evented 33 against Roman Reigns. He's main evented WrestleMania before. But he main evented WrestleMania with AJ Styles. Never in my entire existence did I. And when AJ Styles came in WWE in 2016, it was epic, man. Nobody ever thought that TNA's poster boy, TNA's front runner, AJ Styles would ever amount to the success he has in WWE. And in 4 years, mind you, he has amounted to a lot. He's been the WWE champion. Mind you, he did that in the same year he was in the Royal Rumble match. He became WWE champion. He's been the United States champion. Many great feuds with John Cena. And has he feuded with Seth Rollins yet? I don't think so. John Cena and all these other guys, and it's just like his body of work, and and to think that AJ Styles would be in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm like, I don't know if he would ever get to that level, but this man main evented WrestleMania with The Undertaker. Like, did anybody ever think this would happen? Because far beyond me for to ever think that, but that's just incredible to say out loud. AJ Styles WrestleMania main event of WrestleMania with The Undertaker is just incredible to say. But yeah, man, that was the match. I thought it was amazing. Go watch it if you have not already. 2 big thumbs up from me. Overall, night 1 of WrestleMania, I thought overall it was, I didn't like it all too much. I thought every match except for the last match was really okay. I mean, Becky versus Shayna was, I might say that was good. I might even say Kevin versus Seth was good. Braun versus Goldberg happened. Everything else is there. That main event saved it. Definitely. Then we get into WrestleMania 36 Night 2. Pre-show match, we have Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Don't ask me what happened because I can't tell you. Yeah, see what I did there? Natalya. Don't ask me what happened because I can't tell you. Natalya, can't tell you. See what I did? All right, I'm moving on. I'm sorry. Then we get into the first match of WrestleMania 36 Night 2, happening on April 5th, 2020. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. And give me 1 second. I'm gonna take a sip of water here because my throat's drying up, and I got a live stream to do later today because this is being recorded. 4:26 p.m. April the 8th, Wednesday night. I got a live stream to do later. So let me cleanse my throat a little bit. I have a Blue Yeti now, so if you heard me drinking, that means I'm doing my good job. But Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. I thought this was a really good. You know what? I would go as far as to say this was, excluding AJ versus The Undertaker. I thought this was the best match of WrestleMania 36. This was a really good match. I might even say great. If I had a rating to give it, and I don't rate matches, mind you, I don't like rating matches. If I give it a rating out of 10, I'd give this match a 7.5 out of 10. I'd watch it back again. I thought this was that good. And I ain't gonna call every spot for spot because I think if you guys have 20 minutes, go watch it. It was a good showcase for both women. They got their stuff in, especially Rhea. Rhea, I may not have noticed this before, but she's a really good seller. Like, she was selling that leg. Like, Charlotte was going over the ankle and the leg, as you would guess, for the figure eight. But Rhea was really selling that thing. Like, it was bothering her. Like, she would run and she would start limping and she would, like, start stomping to get feeling into it. And, like, Rhea Ripley is a great seller. And sometimes I think she oversells, but she's a great seller. And I think that really adds to her character, that she can make others look good while in the same breath making herself look just awesome. And I'm disappointed in myself for not realizing that Rhea Ripley came out just as Vegeta, who is my favorite Dragon Ball Z character, in which I slap myself for not realizing that. But just like Vegeta, she lost. Charlotte Flair put her down to figure eight to win the NXT Women's Championship. And I don't have the energy to even tell you about how wrong this was for them to do Rhea Ripley like this and have Charlotte beat her. I've said this day in and day out for the last ever since Charlotte won a Rumble. I've been saying this literally every chance I get. Charlotte should not beat Rhea Ripley. Charlotte doesn't need to beat Rhea Ripley, and if she does, I'm going to stop watching NXT for a while. And the question is, am I going to hold true to my word, and am I going to stop watching NXT? I think after this week, because this is the first week of Charlotte as champion, I'm going to watch this week because Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa is going to be having their last match, apparently, allegedly, their last match in their feud, and I've been watching that feud since they became NXT, so I feel like a debt to watch that match. And then you have the women's ladder match to determine who faces Charlotte. So for this reason, for those two reasons alone, I am watching NXT this week. I feel like after this week, I don't see myself watching unless Io Shirai wins that ladder match and tell me I want to see Io versus Charlotte. And I know for a fact. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. She's gonna have to wait. I know for a fact that when that match happens, Charlotte will probably beat Io Shirai. But I will kill to see Charlotte versus Io because they feel like they would have some magic in the ring. So unless Io wins tonight, and I love Dakota, but I don't really care to see Dakota versus Charlotte because she's gonna beat her too. Unless Io wins, that's it for me with NXT. I think after today, I'm going to do a cleanse for 1 month until May 9th, 2020. I'm going to cleanse my palette of WWE. No Raw, no SmackDown, no NXT, no retro matches, no YouTube clips, nothing. I'm not going to watch anything WWE for an entire month. And I think I don't want to say playing the game is cheating, because I do have to play the game in order to finish out my map-based combat series, but there will be no WWE for me for an entire month, just to cleanse my palate and just to challenge myself and see, is it possible to completely eliminate the biggest wrestling company in the world out of your realm of professional wrestling? Is it possible? Because, I say all the time, I don't watch Raw, I watch SmackDown, but I still watch NXT. I still watch the pay-per-views. But for a month, can I subject myself to just watching New Japan, which isn't even on, but New Japan old clips, or just old clips of anything, or just AEW? Can I subject myself to that and still be fine and still not have a craving to at least see what's up with WWE? Will I still be following them on Twitter? Probably not. I think the only way I'll be updated is through my friends telling me. Like, I won't be looking at dirt sheets online, or I won't be doing any of that. I'm not watching anything WWE for the next month, starting tomorrow. So, unless Io wins, and they announce Io versus Charlotte next week, which means I'll have to delay it, until they announce Charlotte versus Io, I'm not watching NXT. So, for a month. So, that's it. But, we move on. After this, we have Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black. My brain filtered out literally everything in this match except for the finish. So, yeah, got that bad. So, Bobby Lashley Gets up Aleister Black for the Dominator. And Lana ringside's like, no, go for a spear, as if they're... This was so stupid. So, mind you, if there were 60,000, 20,000, 10, even 1,000 people in one arena screaming, making noise, and Lana yells, go for a spear, I could buy into this. Because, maybe he didn't hear her say it because she's being drowned out by all the crowd noise. But there's nobody in this arena except for these guys and ring personnel who aren't making noise. So when Lana says, go for the spear, it's echoing throughout the entire performance center. So there's no way that Aleister Black did not hear you say this. So when Bobby stupidly lets him go and goes for a spear and gets hit with a black mass, I'm like, yeah, you dumbass. What else did you expect to happen? Black mass Bobby Lashley pins him, wins the match. She basically told Aleister Black what Bobby Lashley's going to do next. So I don't blame Bobby Lashley at all for being mad at Lana. Or Lana being mad at him. However it went. Both of them are at fault. Either way. That was that match. Then we get into the next match. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. Sonya Deville was in Dolph Ziggler's corner. No Mandy. A little off-put by that, but no Mandy. The match itself was decent. It was a decent match. I was more so intrigued behind the story than I was this match itself. But the sequence of events leading up to the finish is what made this match what it was. So you had Sonya Deville on the ropes distracting referee. Dolph Ziggler kicks Otis in the dick. And they both fall to the mat. I don't know why they both fell to the mat, but they both fall to the mat. So they're both down. Dolph's crones his feet. Then you hear, Mandy. Let me stop. So Mandy comes out and she goes after Sonya, just starts beating. Now, first of all, my first thing is, I don't know how I felt about that. Because you had Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose have been linked together since they both came to the main roster. In 2017, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose have been together as a unit. And this feud between Otis and Dolph has really been the workings of Dolph and Sonya. And Mandy's kind of been, she doesn't know how to feel about Sonya and whatnot. That's kind of been, I felt like it was a slow burn building up to this breakup. And Mandy comes out and just darts at her and beats her. I'm like, I feel like they could have dragged this out a little bit more between the two. So I was like, well, damn, I felt like we were deprived of an actual, breakup between the two. This just kind of happened. But I'm like, all right, whatever. Beats down Sonya. Then she gets in the ring and she blows Dolph Ziggler, Nakamura style. And she rolls out of the ring. Otis does the caterpillar onto Dolph Ziggler and gets the pin. And I'm like, oh boy, we're going to get the kiss. We got to get the kiss, man. If he doesn't kiss Mandy, throw this whole show away. So they're in the ring, they're celebrating, they're looking at each other. And he sweeps her off her feet. I'm like, yeah, Otis, yeah. I'm like, kiss, 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 kiss. And in a true WrestleMania moment, Kodak moment, WrestleMania moment fashion, they kiss. And I at first I was like, this was amazing. This was epic. I love this. Otis is going to get some cheeks. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? If Mandy Rose made an OnlyFans and she decided, you know what, I'm going to go all in on my OnlyFans and I'm going to make a very explicit video with Otis, I debated. I'm like, would I watch that video? But after that, I also felt disappointed. I'm like, damn, this would have been money if it happened in front of people. If this would have happened at Raymond James Stadium, the place would have went nuts. All them incels would have been losing their minds because you know wrestling fans are 75% incel. So they would have been losing their minds. It would have been amazing, but it happened in front of nobody, so it's a little disappointing. But overall, fun stuff, nice payoff. That all in all makes this a good match in my opinion. So this is probably my second favorite match of the entire weekend. Then we get to, oh god, this match pisses me off. Then we get to the next match, Edge versus Randy Orton. This was the best built feud going into this show, bar none, hands down. The feud was so well put together, and I wanted to do a video. I might still do one But then I feel like I want to do one, but I might end up shitting on this match. So that's why I feel like I don't know if I want to do it. So I'm going to say it here. This match was basically built off of Randy Orton. Now, I think people got it construed and mixed up. A lot of people get the sense of, oh, Randy Orton's jealous of Edge for eliminating a Royal Rumble match, da-da-da-da. But Randy Orton was going through, like, mental trauma in a sense. Because when you think about it, this man, in Edge's first night back on Raw, RKO's him and gives him a concerto. And when he has to explain himself to Matt Hardy and Ed and Beth Phoenix, he always keeps on saying how he loves Edge and he loves his kids, and he loves he always was his friend, and I can't speak, I'm so sorry. And he brought him into the business and how much he means to him. But he's a junkie for this, and he's a sucker for the crowd, and I couldn't have that. I couldn't have Edge in this picture. I had to get him out of this because somebody was going to hurt him. And I was doing him a favor. He always said he was doing Edge a favor. I'm doing Beth a favor by getting Edge out of here before he gets hurt. So in Randy Orton's construed, messed up mind, my dog's barking, I'm so sorry. In his construed, messed up mind, he was doing his friend justice by getting him out of this cursed ring before somebody hurt him. Now, in Randy's eyes, Randy Orton has IED, something explosive disorder, which means Randy has no controls over his actions. He knows that he's incapable of doing stuff like this. So he could blame it on IED. Oh, I had no control. But did he really have control over this? I think Randy did this on purpose. Why did it on purpose? Because he was genuinely concerned for Edge. He genuinely did not want to see Edge get hurt. But because he's so messed up in the head, he didn't realize that by hurting him and taking him out of the picture. I can't talk. What the fuck? By hurting him and taking him out of the picture himself, he defeats the entire purpose of his actions. Like, you took him out so no one else will. That's fucked up. It makes sense, but you did it the whole backwards ass way. So it's almost like a psychological way of looking at it. And I'm no therapist. I'm not going to pretend to be. But it's a deep root to the story that I feel like not many people got, except for me. And that's why I was working on a video essay for it. But I held off, and I'm like, I want to see how the match plays out to get all the little intricacies and all the little, nuances and all that stuff, and then do a video essay on it, so that way it'll be awesome and all that cool stuff. But then the match happened. I'm like, bro, what was this? What was this? I get what they were doing. They were trying to tell a story over a long period of time. But it was too long of a period of time to tell this story. So Edge comes out. Disappointing. No pyro, no cheer, no pop, no people. It was sad. He comes out, utter silence. Randy Orton's theme hits. Randy Orton dressed as the cameraman. So I'm led to believe Randy Orton was doing the camera work for all this show up until this point. Just as the cameraman comes from behind and RKO's Edge. And I'm like, damn, hot start to this match. Edge gets up. Ding, ding, ding. RKO again. I'm like, damn, this is awesome. This is meta. This is what's up. And then Edge gets out of the ring. I love this spot. So he RKO's Edge. Edge is not getting up. Referee's at 7 or 8. So rather than try to collapse his feet and possibly miss the count of 10, Edge rolls out of the ring and manages to get on his feet. By rolling out of the ring, he's able to stand, because Edge is a tall guy. So rolls out of the ring and stands up, and that's how he breaks the pin. I don't know why I love that spot so much, but I loved it because it was creative, and I don't ever remember anyone else in the Last Man Standing match doing that. So I love that spot. I loved it. It stood out to me. It was small, but I loved it. And that was the last time they would ever be in the ring, because they battled to the back of the Performance Center. They went to the training area, and this was the coveted spot everybody was talking about. They went into the gym area, and Randy Orton takes some gym equipment and wraps Edge's neck around it and starts choking him. And everybody was quick to say, oh my God, how could they do this? Randy Orton and Edge are so insensitive, and how did that? Now, if you guys don't know why this is so bad, which I'm sure all of you know by now why it was so bad, Chris Benoit, who I don't really talk about too often, had a documentary did on him about 2 weeks ago, Dark Side of the Ring, Chris Benoit's story. 13 years ago, Chris Benoit murdered his wife and kid and hung himself with gym equipment. I'm not going to get too deep into the Benoit story. I haven't seen Dark Side of the Ring yet. When I watch it, I'll give my thoughts on it. But he hung himself after killing his wife and kid. So when people saw this spot, I guess they were hit with the realization that Chris Benoit hung himself, and this tug on their heartstrings, and people were pissed about this spot. How do I feel about it? I mean, honestly and truly, up until people said something, I honestly didn't think anything of it. Like, I didn't even remember until people brought it up. And then when I thought about it, I'm like, oh, I guess this is insensitive. And I guess, you know. Like, it was entirely possible. It was entirely possible that Edge and Randy Orton did this spot unconsciously without even thinking about Chris Benoit. I've done things in my life without even thinking about repercussions or past events that could trigger somebody. All of us have done something like this. So I feel like we can't just, and I know it's not possible, but you can't cancel Edge and Randy Orton for this spot because they could have possibly did this and didn't even remember that this is how Chris Benoit died. So I don't feel like it was worth raking them over the coals for. But I feel like also, blame WWE. WWE, this is a pre-taped match. They had days to edit this spot out, and they did not. You know what else they had time to? Edit this entire damn match. But it seems like they just left shit in. And they left everything in. These guys went to the back. They went to the conference area. They went to the steel area. They went to the parking lot. This match went 37 minutes. It was egregiously long. And it felt egregiously long. I'm fine. Better yet, I would go as far as to say I love backstage brawls. When people go outside of the ring, go outside the realm of normal matches, I'm a fan of it. I always love that match between John Cena and JBL at Great American Bash 2008 when they went backstage and they went in the parking lot. I always loved that match just for the parking lot spots. And John Cena versus Eddie Guerrero, and I always loved those matches. This one, however, I hated this. I hated this match. No, I hated... How do I say this? I didn't hate the match, but I hate how it was laid out. Because I understood what they were going for. They were going for the I love you, I hate you spot. They were going for everything you could do to put down your opponent. And then by the end, you had Edge crying about doing a concerto. And he's like, I don't want to do this. After he just beat Randy Orton's ass for 37 minutes and I was to cry about it. I understood the concept of what they were going for, but it did not need to be this long. I legitimately was tweeting the whole time to end this match because it was becoming unbearable. Spot after spot after spot after spot. And I feel like no crowd didn't help and doing them any favors. But then you had commentary. Oh, here comes Edge going to the top rope. And Edge doing a dastardly thing to Randy Orton. And here comes Randy Orton doing a clothesline. Oh man, that was such a... The commentators, I gotta shit on them. Because how do you have these guys doing some cool spots like this and you're just commentating like, oh man, that was very rough. That was very rough, Cole. I don't know how he managed. Why were you commentating like it was a golf match? They made this match worse, in my opinion. Like, I wasn't dozing off, but I was bored out of my damn mind watching this. And it sucks. And it sucks. It really does. Because this was Edge's first singles match back. And it will always be remembered for being the longest and most unnecessarily long match in WrestleMania history. This is the second longest match in WrestleMania history. It had no business being 37 minutes. And for that reason, I feel like it's. I don't know if I could do a video essay on it. I just don't know. I don't know. But I chalk this up as what's the word? I chalk this up as overindulgence from both men. I know what they were trying to go for, but they didn't need to do as much as they did. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Edge won the match. Cool for him. Then we get into the next match. There was more matches after this. We had the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Let me take a little swig of my water just one more time because I'm a little parched here. Sorry. How long does the review be going on? How long is this review? 1 hour 14. Oh God, this is a long review. But it's alright. I don't do this very often. So it's Street Profits versus Angel Garza. I don't remember too much happening in this match either. What I can tell you is Angel Garza ripped off his pants. I missed it. I replayed the spot, saw him rip off his pants, and I popped. And then that was all I remember happening. Montez Ford hit a frog splash on Austin Theory, always getting good elevation on his frog splashes. It gave Dawkins room to pin Austin Theory and retain the Raw Tag Team Championships. Angel Garza, Zelina Vega, and Austin Theory beat down the Street Profits after this match, in which it brought out Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, the EST of NXT, came out and gave Zelina Vega a VOD in her first no, not her first, because she technically, her first Mania appearance was, I think, WrestleMania 34's Battle Royal. So I guess that was her first. Her second WrestleMania, her first main show appearance, she laid out Zelina Vega and stood tall with the Street Profits. And I'm like, yes, bro, let's go, Bianca. Disappointed because I think this is her main roster call-up and she's done with NXT. And it's very sad because she was one of my favorite things about NXT. But I guess progression, she had to go. We talk all day about how NXT is the third brand. And it's this, it's that. It's on TV now, so you gotta call it. But why do we keep getting these call-ups, right? Quote-unquote call-ups. Why do we keep getting these NXT guys going to Raw and SmackDown? If it's the third brand. Yes, we got Charlotte and Finn Balor to NXT, but I always get the sense these guys aren't coming to NXT because they're doing NXT a favor, in the sense that, trade-offs. They're coming to NXT to do NXT a favor in the ratings. But when it comes to NXT guys going to Raw and SmackDown, it's business as usual. This always happens once a year. I feel like we gotta eliminate that stigma. We gotta stop this whole call-ups thing if you want NXT to start feeling like a third brand. Because I guess you gotta raise the wages of the NXT guys or what. But they will always be developmental to me. They will always be developmental to me until they start to get treated like the third brand. And I know the Survivor Series was a great representation for them, and so was Royal Rumble, but stuff like this makes them feel second rate, third rate, really. And I feel like WWE has to stop that if they want them to really feel like an essential. But yeah, we'll move on. So then we get into the co-main event. Well, I don't know what you call this. The semi-main event. The SmackDown Women's 5-Way Elimination match between Sasha Banks, Bayley, Tamina, Lacey Evans, and Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I can tell you the eliminations. Tamina was eliminated by all the way. I don't even understand why Tamina was in this match. I guess to give her a payday, give her something to do, because she's never wrestling any other time, any other day of the week. Like, she was in here as the powerhouse. They even had her do the whole, everyone's ganging up on her, and she pushes everybody off of her. They gave her the Nia Jax spot, basically. Everybody pinned her. Then it came down to the 4 women. Sasha Banks and Bayley teamed up for most of it, and Sasha tapped out Naomi with the big statement. A little disappointing. I wish Naomi would have won it. Then it came down to Sasha and Lacey and Bayley. And Bayley accidentally knees Sasha Banks in the face at one point. And Sasha, gets back up, but she's like, what did you do that for? Da, 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 da. Like typical banter between people who have mishaps in WWE or wrestling. And Bayley's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. And so we'll talk about it later. And that they're really having a whole ass conversation during this match. Lacey managed to get back up to her feet. hits Sasha with the woman's right, pins, eliminates her. So Sasha's gone. And I tweeted on Twitter that if this is no further proof that WWE hates Sasha Banks, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. WWE does not like this woman, and I will keep saying it. I don't know why. I feel like I have a reason why. I feel like because she's so outspoken, they don't like her, but WWE will not push her. And even every time they did, they cut her legs off, and they had her drop the title like a month later. They just, I don't know. I can't even grasp it. This is why I lost interest in her. She was my favorite NXT women's wrestler at one point. And she was my favorite wrestler when she went to Raw and SmackDown, when she got called up. But then week after week, they gave her good matches. They gave her titles. Then she lost the titles. Then they pushed her. Then they stopped. Then she went away. Then they started pushing her. Then she stopped. Then she went away again. Like, it's so inconsistent with her. It's impossible to be a fan of Sasha Banks, honestly. Then you get back to the Bayley Lacey Evans. They went at it for a little bit. Sasha helped Bayley win the match, so she retained the title. Afterwards, Bayley, she's posing. Sasha gets in the ring, gives her the title, and poses with her. Sasha Banks is the biggest simp in WWE. Let me just say that much. I know you're like, Tyler, are you using the word simp? Yes, I know what I mean when I say the word simp. Sasha Banks is a simp. She stays by Bayley's side no matter what, through thick and thin. Even though she's the champion, she knows she wants a championship. And she looked at the title with hungry eyes. She stood by her side. So Sasha Banks is now Sasha Simp. Or Simp Banks. Somebody come up with a name for her down below. Is it Simp Banks or is it Sasha Simp? I think it's Sasha Simp. We're going to go with that. But then we get into the co-main event. John Cena versus The Fiend in the Firefly Funhouse match. This is an acid trip. This was a straight up acid trip. So John Cena themes hit. He comes out to the ramp. You know, but then you get the Firefly Funhouse theme. I'm not going to sing it, even though I want to. Yeah, Bray Wyatt in the Funhouse, give it his introduction, talking about how John Cena is my opponent, da 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 da. He disappears. And then John Cena somehow, someway teleports into the Funhouse, which I don't understand, unless there's some theory going. See Wrestling UK, probably some theory I don't know about. Unless somehow he has magic powers or he was dreaming the whole time, which might be my theory. I don't know how he got into the Funhouse. But he sees the door behind him, and it says, "Abandon all hope, ye who exit here." And he enters in, and that's when it all begins. So first you have John Cena. He's interacting with this Puppet Vince, and Puppet Vince is talking about, you gotta have ruthless aggression. And this segues into Bray Wyatt in the ring, and he's portraying Kurt Angle in John Cena's debut. We got the return of the SmackDown Fist, and I marked out real hard for this, man, because I missed that fist so much. John Cena even came out in his old gear, his first gear. He had on the orange and blue trunks, the orange and blue wristbands, the orange and blue knee pads, the orange and blue sneak. Oh my God. It was weird and cool at the same time seeing John Cena in trunks. I mean, we haven't seen John Cena in trunks since like literally 2004. So this is very strange. But he comes out stuck in his old ways. He's talking about ruthless aggression. Every time he swings at Bray Wyatt, he ducks. He can't hit him. Bray Wyatt's talking trash. Ruthless aggression, swing, miss. Ruthless aggression, swing, miss. It's just typical stuff. But then he get into the next segment, and we have Saturday night's main event being commentated by Puppet Vince and Mercy the Buzzard. Bray Wyatt comes out, and he's portraying like an old school ring announcer, almost like Mean Gene Okerlund or something like that, or probably something different. I don't really know. I can't really say Mean Gene. You gotta watch this soul. And he brings out Johnny Largemeat. And John Cena proceeds to cut the most 80s promo I've ever seen him cut. He's pumping iron. He's lifting weights, and he's like something like that. I guess it was cool. But then he can't move his arms anymore. I guess all the testosterone and all the steroids are not really doing any favors now. And Bray Wyatt's like, what you gonna do, brother, when you realize egomania has been running wild on you? And he says that before we go back to the SmackDown Fist, and we see Thugonomics Cena. Word life. This is basic Thugonomics. He gets in the ring, and it's always a treat to see Thugonomics Cena, mind you. And he gets in the ring. He starts spitting some bars, in which most of them fell flat in my opinion. But then he gets to the last one, and he says, You've been a disappointment since they brought you to the dance. You're a slut for opportunity. You blow at every chance. And I'm like, oh shit, Bird, oh shit, he's on fire. Let's get someone get a fire extinguisher and hose down Bray Wyatt because he's on fire. He just got burnt. But Bray Wyatt's all sad and the sad music playing, and he's like, you talk about opportunity, yet you take opportunities away from those around you, and I never got the opportunities you got, and you're bullying this and that, and Bray Wyatt stuff. Bray Wyatt being a little bitch, basically. And John Cena goes to punch him. Bray Wyatt teleports. And now he's using a chain. And now, I remember this chain. I don't remember if it's the chain that John Cena wore on his neck back when he was the Thugonomics character, or if it was the chain he carried around with him. But it was like a lock and key chain. It wasn't like the what's it called? The dog tag chain. It was the lock and key one. I remember him having it at one point, but I don't remember for what he had it for. But he had the lock and key chain. He punches Cena in the face, and Cena's down and out. And he's all knocked out. Get to the next scene, and we see the Bray Wyatt of old. And he's cutting his typical old Bray Wyatt, can't you fly? He's cutting that promo. And Cena is like, did I bury you 6 years? And here's the part that annoyed me about this whole thing. This was a constant, oh, guys, remember that time John Cena buried Bray Wyatt 6 years ago? It was constant throughout, not even just this match, but the entire build-up was, you buried me 6 years ago, now I'm out for revenge. And I said it before and I say it again, Bray Wyatt, get the fuck over it, man. Why the hell are you still hung up about this man beating you 6 years ago? The feud is literally built off of Bray Wyatt's bitter because John Cena beat him in WrestleMania 30 and killed his momentum. This feud would have been good 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. 6 years later, you're bitter? Alright. I guess it's a way to get this feud going, I guess. Then you have Cena. He gets the chair because Bray Wyatt's on his knees. And he's like, do what you didn't do WrestleMania. Hit me. Cena doesn't hesitate. He swings at Wyatt. He teleports again. This time we get to the weirdest part of the entire segment. You have Bray Wyatt portraying Eric Bischoff, welcoming out John Cena, who's portraying NWO Hulk Hogan. A lot of people are confused by this, as was I, because I didn't get the reference, and a lot of people didn't get the reference. The closest theory I could get to this was maybe heel John Cena. Maybe this would have been heel John Cena, or maybe this was what I think it could be was, if you guys remember, there was this episode of Raw when the Wyatt family was all in the ring. It was Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. You had this fifth Wyatt family member appear. And everyone's like, who's the fifth Wyatt family member? And John Cena reveals the match. And people pop huge for this. I remember popping huge for this too. So we thought, holy shit, John Cena's part of the Wyatt family. And then literally 2 seconds later, he attacks him. I'm like, oh my god, really? I think this is part of the feud too. So I feel like maybe that was part of it. Because literally John Cena attacked Bray Wyatt literally seconds after he got into the ring. And he's punching him and punching him and punching him. Bray Wyatt's got his fist up, and everyone's, and Husky Harris and Peppa the Pig or whatever her own name is, like, no, please stop. And then you see John Cena's really beating up. I said Peppa the Pig. I can't believe it. And John Cena's beating up the pig because Bray Wyatt teleported again because Bray Wyatt's Matt Hardy now. Now the Fiend is behind him. And the Fiend puts his claw out, and he digs it into John Cena's mouth, and he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Then he hits him with the Sister Abigail and puts a claw back to his mouth and passes out. And Bray Wyatt is now on the mat. 1, 2, 3. Bray Wyatt's a referee now, apparently. No referee or anything. And I guess he won the match? The Fiend? I don't know. I thought this was a good segment. I don't know how to feel about, like, it's been 5 days and I still don't know how to feel about this entire thing. Like, it was cool to see all the callbacks, and I love the people online who are like, oh, you didn't like it because you didn't get it. Like, people were literally tearing other people down for not liking this match. Like, oh, you didn't get the continuity, so you didn't like this match. And you, like, guys, fuck off. Like, for real. Like, if people don't like this match, they didn't like this match, like, don't fucking tease them because they didn't like it or appreciate it the way you did. Like, honestly and truly, me personally, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still indifferent. I mean, I want to like it, but then part of me just is like, So that's me. I'm indifferent on it. Then we get to the main event. Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Now, I don't know what I was expecting out of this match. I think I was expecting at least like 8 or 10 minutes. But we only got like 4, maybe 3. And the match goes like this. Claymore counter to German suplex. Second German suplex. Third German suplex. F5. Drew kicks out of 1, which I popped for, but then I was like, why do you kick out of 1? Because like nobody kicks out of 1. Like that, I don't want to say it buries the F5, but like, bam, all right. Then he hits another F5. Kicks out of 2. Then it's a third F5. Now, mind you, I was scared. I was scared when he hit that third F5 because I'm like, not many people kick out of 3 F5s, let alone 2. So I don't know about this one. But then he kicks out of 2 again. I'm like, hey, Drew. Then he goes for fourth F5. Drew gets out of it. Claymore. Fourth Claymore. 1, 2, 3. And Drew McIntyre is the new WWE champion. I'm marked out huge. I was happy for Drew. I was happy that he finally won a championship and he finally got his moment because I'm a Drew McIntyre fan. I've been so for a while. Overall, I mean, the match was could have been way better, man. Just like the Braun Strowman Goldberg match, man. This was the same layout for both matches. They could have done anything different for this match. They couldn't give him a little bit more time because they gave him time for Seth and they give him time for Roman, but no time for Drew, I guess. Like, I guess it made Drew look strong, but I mean, overall, I as a match, I didn't like it. Finish wise, payoff wise, I loved it. But as a match, no, not a fan. Not a fan of these 2-minute, 3-minute race to the finish matches. It was cool the first time they did it with Brock and Goldberg, and it was even cooler the second time they did it with Brock and Goldberg. But then, now they just keep doing it as their reliance on these Brock and Goldberg matches. And it's like, it's not fun anymore, bro. But that was the match. That was WrestleMania 36 night 2. I thought it was a okay show as well. I mean, just I don't know. How do I feel? How do I feel about WrestleMania 2 night 2? I liked the first match. I liked the SmackDown and I thought the SmackDown and 5 was fine. And then I thought the Fiend versus John Cena was, I'm still indifferent on it. And then I like the payoff. So I guess I say it's better than night 2 in a sense. Would I? I don't know. I think as a whole, looking at WrestleMania 36 as a whole, how do I feel about this show? They did the best they could. They did the best they could for what they were given and as little time as they were given to make what they had. And I will never, ever, ever tell WWE or tell any of you that this show was horrible and they could do better, because given the climate and given the scenario they had and given all the things going into this, they were not given the time and they basically were screwed and they had to work with it. So I will give them credit for giving us this show in the time they were given. But I'm not going to sit here and act like this is a perfect show. Because there's some people online who are like, oh, this is great. This is amazing. Thank you, WWE. Kissing their ass and sucking their dick. It's like, bro, listen, I understand WWE gave us a show, but that doesn't mean you have to pretend like it was awesome. Because this was not an awesome show by any stretch of the matter. This show as a whole, I felt like was good. Like, this was a good WrestleMania at best. At best, it was good. No more than that. Not a great show. Not an awesome show. It was good. It gave me 2 or 3 matches I thought that were good. I liked. It gave me 1 spectacular blowaway, and then the rest of it was there. Does that constitute a great WrestleMania in my eyes? No. I think if you give me 18 matches, and I really can only say I liked a quarter of it, the best I could give you is maybe a 6.5 out of 10. So for me, WrestleMania 36, 6.5 out of 10. But what did you guys think? Comment down below. Let your boy know as we are getting out of this 1 hour and a half long review of WrestleMania 36. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys always, and I will see you all for my next episode of the Chill Pill Podcast. Peace out, guys.